There's a new consciousness being born, dawning all across the planet. It's creating an entirely new way of living, way of being, that's very contrary and radically different from the old way of what we would call, probably most of us would call normal. It's, and this new way of being is giving rise to, over time, a new earth, long prophesied in many, if not all, spiritual and religious traditions. Age of peace on earth, brotherly love amongst humanity, harmony, balance, abundance, all the things we all really want, but can't seem to figure out how to make it happen. But it's happening amongst many of us, and there's a sharp divide in the way of being between the new way and the old way. And this new consciousness is what I want to talk about a little bit today. Signs and of how it plays out and how these changes happen. Because it's happening in me little by little. I'm getting, I feel like, a more greater awareness of how it actually looks in my own life, and also then the more it happens in me and around me, I see it more and recognize it in others. And I'm seeing that it's taking place in ways that maybe many of us haven't expected it to take place. But it's very much, a shift in awareness and perception and the way we think or don't think so much. It's a lot less thinking and a lot more of just being present. That's a huge aspect of it, is just being present in the now, in the moment, and allowing things to be the way, allowing life to just be and flow, and surrendering into the flow, surrendering into how it is, while at the same time not losing sight of the fact that we have immense creative power and how we act and live and the thoughts we hold or the thoughts we empower by fueling them with our emotions and consciously putting our minds on those thoughts, we create reality. So being present is a huge part. Going within, tapping into intuition, being in a state of love, letting love guide us, not fear. But really, I feel like a huge aspect is connecting with our own authenticity, being authentic. So a lot of people being called to be more authentic, and that's going to look different for everybody. But tapping into who we really are, following our inner guidance, our intuition, connecting to our inner light, which is the divine in us, the kingdom of heaven within. It's shining our light. And the more we do this, the more we connect to our inner light, the more we can shine that light, and then it spreads. And this is how a new way of life spreads on the planet. It's not from the outside in, it's from the inside out, and it's not from the top down. It's from at the individual level, expanding outwards from one individual out, not from a leadership, trickling down. It's not like that. It's very much the opposite, from the inside out. And listening to higher guidance, inner guidance, and I think connecting to that inner light is connecting to God or our Creator, or whatever name one wishes to give it. I think that's super important, and that's a lesson that so many of us are being taught and learning in so many different ways, is the importance of going within ourselves, not getting distracted by all of the noise outside of us, all of the stories in the news, all the narratives, the mainstream narratives, even alternative narratives, just all the stories and the noise outside of us and the chaos and the confusion, and unplugging from that and just listening in the silence, in the stillness, quieting our minds and listening so that we can hear the truth that's there when all of that outside noise is quieted. And even the Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." We can't hear divine guidance while our minds are cluttered with all the noise. And so this is happening in a lot of people. People are being prompted to unplug, to some degree at least, from all this programming. It's what it is, coming from outside of us, the external. Even in spiritual circles, there's a lot of confusion. Some spiritual teachers and communities, and all of this is prompting people to go within themselves and to build a direct connection to our Creator directly. And this is so important in this time, and this is a theme I see coming up in other people I follow, but especially in my own life. I just see it confirmed that other people are getting this message, that the importance of staying true and authentic to our own truth, whatever that is, our perception of truth. And the more we're authentic to our own truth, our perception of truth, the more we grow, the more our awareness grows, the more clearly we see the truth, and we experience the truth by being authentic and honest with ourselves. The closer we get to the highest, the deepest divine truth. And the more we follow our intuition, the stronger our intuition gets. And miracles start to happen. Synchronicities. It's like we're inviting life to create miracles for us by letting go of our attempt to try to control life, because we can't control life. We can only control our own inner state of being. We can only control how we react to circumstances, but we're not in control of how other people react, but we can shine light and love. We can help ease suffering in our capacity to do so. And we all have different gifts, and so there's no one way that this shift in consciousness happens. It might appear very different in the way it plays out in different people because of how their gifts are, but underlying it, there's certainly these similarities. And it's very beautiful seeing the more this happens in a person, the more beauty they are able to see even in the darkness. And this is a huge part of it, is not seeing the darkness as inherently bad. We're trying to transcend it, all these aspects of darkness that we no longer need, that no longer serve us. But we can do that without judging other people's darkness, because it's the darkness that serves as a catalyst. It creates a contrast so that we can see the need for the light and the purpose of light and love. And the deeper our pain and suffering oftentimes seems to be, the higher, the farther we fall, I guess is a good way of putting it, then the higher we can fly. And so recognizing everything having its purpose, including all the worst evils that we see around us that we definitely are moving beyond, but we can see they have their purpose. And not getting sucked into the hatred of the other, we point our fingers at this bad guy, that bad guy, for everyone's going to have their different bad guy, their different enemy, the different person or entity or system they're going to find the hardest, or group of people. Not really the system can be entirely bad, but the people in the system still have light in them, even if they're not tuned into it, connected to it, shining it. But we can help actually bring that out of them by being compassionate to them despite how, maybe evil or ignorant we see them as acting. And so to see even the greatest evils as not evil, not judging them as bad, we can recognize that they're evil in our minds and dark, and that we don't want to feed them energetically, and we don't want to have any part, anything to do with it. We want to move beyond that, but we can also recognize that it's showing us the things that we want to move beyond, and it's, in that sense, it has its purpose, and we can not be constantly fighting how it is, because it's that way for a reason, to show us how to move forward. I mean, if it wasn't for all of the really great evils coming to light and all the people that are acting really terribly towards one another on the world stage, showing us how evil and corrupt these systems really are, we'd have no motivation to, withdraw from those systems or try to change those systems, try to make things better. And so when we can recognize this, we can have a much easier task of learning to forgive, and forgiveness is key. Forgiveness frees us, and we can forgive those that we consider our enemies, and then they be enemies to us no longer. From our perception, they might still see us as enemies, but that's their problem, that's not our problem, and we can still forgive them and love them and extend our love and compassion and shine our light and not wish them harm, while still recognizing the darkness in them and not, still pointing that out, but in love as opposed to hatred. And so this is a huge aspect of this shift, is the ability to recognize things how they are, not bypass negative emotions within ourselves, and not bypass, all of the corruption on the world stage, be able to point out evil while not hating the perpetrators of that evil, and recognize that hurt people. And so the greater the evil we see, or the deeper the darkness we see people, like the harm, the negativity against one another, those people doing the most negativity and the most harm to one another, or to others, maybe not being done back to them by those people, but they're in pain. And if they're doing a lot of harm, or what we would call the greatest evils, then they're hurting inside probably more than we can even possibly imagine. And why would we want to wish them harm when the harm they're causing is because they're in pain? We want to alleviate that pain, obviously, because if that pain is alleviated in them, then they'll stop harming others. And that's what we really want. We want them to stop harming others. We don't actually want them to be hurt. We think we do, because this is the programming, the judgment, the punishment, seeking to punish one another. So lots of things are going to change as this consciousness takes root and takes hold. The way people are beginning to view things in the new consciousness is so diametrically opposed to the old way of doing things. The idea of punishing people is just like ridiculous. Why would we want to punish someone? We don't want to punish them. We want to rehabilitate them. And this is going to cause all sorts of changes in the way systems run, or how new systems that initially might compete with old systems, how they work, until more and more people shifting into this new consciousness. It's unity consciousness. It's a state of recognizing that we're all a part of one another. We're all brothers and sisters of one human family. And then ultimately that we're all a part of all of creation and the Creator. We're all connected. There's no separation except within our minds, in this play, in this dream, whatever we want to, this matrix. But we recognize at a deeper level that we're all connected, we're all one, we're all interconnected, and that anything we do to anyone or anything else, we're really doing to ourselves to some extent. So if we're hurting others, on some level, we're hurting a part of ourselves. And as we begin to recognize this more and more at a heart level, not just at an intellectual level, but we actually begin to experience moments of oneness, the more this consciousness is going to take root in the collective, not just in a few individuals or a few million here and there. It's going to spread. And so, but the only way this is going to happen is those people to whom it's already occurring and expanding and growing in, is they continue to not get sidetracked, not get sucked back into all the drama, not get pulled back into the old programs as they're deprogramming, not get pulled back down, because as the world gets crazier and crazier from all of this shift, and the forces that don't want to shift with it are going to fight back, and it's going to continue to create more and more chaos on the world stage. And if we don't get sucked back into that, which at times can be really difficult to not get sucked back into all that drama and all of the mudslinging and all of the hatred and fear and anxiety and division, it's really important for those of us that are breaking free from these chains and who have tasted this new consciousness to consciously stay in it as best we can for longer and longer periods of time, and to not get pulled back in to the very thing that we are naturally growing out of. And the world, the people of the planet who are maybe not as aware or haven't yet tasted this new consciousness, I can also call it Christ consciousness, because it's the consciousness that Yeshua, the Christ, the one known as the Christ, and also was operating in and spreading, and he planted a seed 2,000 years ago, and now it's actually beginning to grow. It's always been growing, but it's beginning to grow on a more mass collective scale, and it's ripe for actually expanding into the whole collective consciousness, as opposed to just a handful here, a handful there, as has been typically the case throughout the past couple thousand years. And so, yeah, it's just really important to not get distracted. This is what I'm seeing in my life, is the importance and the power of not getting sucked back in to the old ways of being, not getting sucked back into the mainstream narratives, and to follow our heart, to follow our inner guidance, to consciously continue day by day to spend time connecting, tapping into our intuition, connecting to our Creator, connecting to our inner light, so that it continues to grow and expand, and this state of consciousness, the new consciousness, begins to take, the roots get stronger and stronger. The more that we can stay in this new way of being, and the more longer periods of time we can have our minds stilled and just be and flow and shine and allow life to just live through us. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to share today. I've been noticing this in my own life and around the importance and how disempowering it is, and also how easy it is to get sucked back into the old ways, and also how important it is, and how empowering and how quickly things change for the positive when we do just take a few minutes in the day to really get centered and present. And if we actually step forward in faith, walk by faith, not by sight, that's a huge aspect of this new consciousness. To trust life is working out for us. Life is not against us. And the more we do this and actually act on our intuition, follow our inner guidance, face our fears, and make a choice for love that's really difficult, that we've struggled with. And then we get rewarded for it in so many different ways. It's going to look different for everyone. But if we're willing really to do this and to step out in faith, and we can really start to connect with our Creator, connect with our inner light and shine it, it's going to light up our whole life. It's going to light up our path. It's going to make things much more clear, and we'll be able to be anchors in the storms that are here and the storms that are coming and the craziness and the chaos for others who are going to need us. So it's very important right now, is what I'm really feeling and experiencing and hearing, is that the importance of connecting to our Creator, to going within, to being centered in our own inner power and the power of the divine within us and all around us. So I think that's pretty much sums it up. Hope that's helpful to someone out there. This lesson I've been learning, over and over and over for years, but I'm feeling it very strongly, and I'm hearing others that I'm tuned into talk about it, online, offline. It seems to just be so important right now to not get distracted by all the noise, and also how rewarding it is. Like, if we just let go and do this, however it looks for us, connecting to God, connecting to our Creator, letting go, and following our guidance and our intuition. When we really do that wholeheartedly and take actual steps, not just, okay, I'm surrendered to life, and now I just sit here and do nothing. But actually, whatever that guidance is prompting us to do, we do it. It might still be not external things we're asked to do at some level or at first, but eventually we're going to have to also act in the world to change the world. But the more we do that, the more I feel like the energy in the air right now it's really ripe for this new consciousness. So when we step into this, as scary as it might feel, because it's a whole new way of being, things really start to move in our lives, in our world, and miracles begin to happen, and things just, it's like life just, the second that we start to do this, life really steps in to make a way for things to change for the better, and whole new paths, whole new options, opportunities, new ways forward if we're feeling stuck, this sort of thing. They appear, and it becomes really clear. And so it's difficult, I know, scary. I think a lot of us are being asked to really step out in faith and face some of our deeper fears that maybe we've been working on for a long time, but there's still aspects of those fears that are holding us back. And if we just let love really, let the light of love really fill us up, we can get the strength. And when we connect to the Creator, we can really have the strength to face these fears and move forward into new dawn, into new beginnings that are ultimately creating heaven on earth. And the more that we do this on an individual level, the more we get guided to others who are doing this, the more communities are formed, community connections, and then the more the light expands and grows and gets brighter and brighter, and others see it and are attracted to it and begin moving in this direction as well. So yeah, let love guide you, not fear. Listen to your intuition and connect to God, whatever that looks like to you. Answers are out there. There's lots of guidance and answers as well as the confusion. So discernment is super important. Take care. Peace to everyone out there. Until next time, this has been Jason. Have a wonderful morning, day, evening, afternoon. Have a wonderful week. Peace.